In your Consumer Watch tonight, the numbers are in, and cannabis sales continue to thrive in Michigan. In the month of July, more than $250 million worth of cannabis products were sold, and that is a record.
Through the first 7 months of the year, the state has recorded $1.7 billion in sales. This after sales totaled $2.3 billion last year. Of the 23 states with legal cannabis, only California has higher sales than Michigan.
Here to help us break all of this down is Dustin Walsh, senior healthcare and cannabis reporter with Crain's Detroit Business. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So that sounds a little crazy when you first say it. We're right behind California, which is a much larger state. 30 million more people?
30 million more people.
How can that be?
I wish there's a simpler answer, but really, we like our weed in Michigan. And also, you could sort of throw it back to the way we set up our industry here. We were unlimited licensure, so we were quick to prop up the industry and really quick to flood the market with available product. And really what that did is bring a lot more people that were using it illicitly into the legal market. We did that much quicker and much more efficiently than California has. The argument is that 75% of our sales are in the legal space, and that's including, 100% would be with the illegal sales. In California, the estimate is about 44%.
Wow.
So we have a lot more people in the legal market than per capita than California.
Right now, we're on pace to surpass what was done last year in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Do you think that the cannabis sales can keep this up and keep going at this level here in the state?
No. They will top out eventually. Some of the economic research suggests that it's about 3.2 billion, 3.3 billion is sort of the peak that we'll reach in the state. We are probably going to come close to hitting that in this year in sales. So I don't know if there's an indication that it's going to slow down that quickly and that it's going to stay at that number. But there is a limit. We are not going to be as big of a cannabis market as California. It's just a matter of whether we can bring more people to the legal market, and that's really going to be sort of the metric going forward.
So adult use or recreational cannabis has been legal in Michigan for some time. What is happening with the medical side of things?
Sure. So medical is effectively falling off. Medical sales, I believe last month were about a little over 6 million compared to the 270 million on the recreational side. And so the reality is that prices are just really competitive. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you're buying a lot of cannabis every month to utilize a medical marijuana card with the lower tax rate. It's pennies that you might be saving. So it's just not worth the hassle for a lot of people.
Do you think there's a saturation in the market as far as companies are concerned? There's just too many out there right now that could essentially make this, they have to undermine, their product sales.
Yeah, I mean, so we're seeing a lot of that. It is still very difficult to make money in the marijuana industry right now because of the pricing is so low. And so it is difficult to hit decent margins. So for people that aren't great at running a business, they're going to continue to struggle. Whether that's at a saturation point, I don't know. We are going to see more consolidation, so we could see fewer players moving forward. But as of now, it's sort of just kind of riding the ship and maintaining where it's at.
Are entrepreneurs still trying to make their way into this industry, or is that even possible right now?
They are, and yes, it's very difficult. It would be very difficult to enter this industry unless you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of money backing you. But yes, people every month are still getting licenses. They're still looking for places to land because there are communities that are slowly coming online. Detroit just came online for recreational use. Waterford Township's working that way. Pontiac's working that way. And so there are other places around the state that new entrepreneurs can get access to. But they're going to have a difficult, row.
Yeah.
We talked about the 23 states that legally sell cannabis. Do you think other states around the country will look at what's being done here in Michigan and say, you know what, it's selling at that pace, we should legalize it here as well?
Yeah, so they should. I agree wholeheartedly that they should.
Are they?
Some are and some aren't. So if we look at what Illinois is doing, they're slow rolling their marijuana program out. They don't want to flood the market like Michigan did with cannabis products so that prices go low and then people go out of business. They don't want to do that, so they're slow rolling it. And we've seen that work in other states, and we've seen it sort of not work. I think it's hard to argue with Michigan's low tax rate, even though this last month, we turned $1 billion in excise tax and sales tax in marijuana since the start of the industry in 2020. So that's a lot of money. And so I think they should probably look to Michigan because it's pretty hard to argue with our results.
All right. Well, Dustin Walsh, senior healthcare and cannabis reporter with Crain's Detroit Business. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.